Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
Band from Ringside. Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, WWE decides to Netflix and chill. Your boy goes to WWE, AEW Collision. Edge and Suzuki fight on Dynamite. And Vince McMahon.
Come on out, you rapist.
That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast.
It only took 344 episodes, but goddammit, we switching the drops up, motherfuckers. Pay attention. It's on.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks. Welcome to the Band from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Carney Weinstein. And sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Hey, it's a beefer in the USA. And on that level, we know that I'll have to ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Man from Ringside podcast, volume 344, chapter 3, verse 14 of the Good Spark saying hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat the Holy Trinity of BFR. Nice AKA, by the way. It's going to be a real interesting 2 hours. That's all I'm going to say. I've been waiting to say this up all day for this shit. Let's do this shit, man.
And out there in Portland, Oregon, we have none other than Two Beer Zach Pullman. What's going on, Two Beer Zach?
BFR West's in the house.
I started out pretty good, but picked the wrong day to get a Vince McMahon tattoo.
You know, you guys have been defending him. And I've been telling you, he's just not a good dude. He's just not a good dude.
I'm like, why is Vince trending? Oh, shit.
Plenty more where that came from. You know, I just want to, just a disclaimer, right off the top, you know, we here at BFR, and I know I speak for the boys when I say that we take allegations and we take the crimes that Vince McMahon is accused of very seriously. There is no doubt that we take them seriously. However, well, I shouldn't say however, and we are also going to make tons of fun of Vince McMahon. If you can't make fun of a billionaire and drag him through the fucking mud when he is accused of the types of things that he is accused of, then what the hell what do we even have a wrestling podcast for? We ain't got no sponsors. We ain't got no advertisers.
Nope.
This is uncut coming from your boys. And we have the Royal Rumble this week. I didn't even fucking say that. We also had it's Royal Rumble week. The best pay-per-view that there is is the Royal Rumble, and that is coming up in 2 nights. So we also have your Royal Rumble predictions.
Unreal.
So
Vince hijacking the Royal Rumble.
Man, you know Nick Khan ain't happy. So you know what? Let's just get right into it. Let's kick it off with that 3 count.
God damn that, Vince.
3.
JCB, kick it off.
We're going to start with good news on the WWE front before we start dragging poor Vince through the mud. The good news for WWE is that they signed a monster-ass deal with Netflix, so Raw will be moving to Netflix, SmackDown is moving to USA, and then in a little bit of a surprise move, NXT is going to CW. So let's break it all down. I guess this was from Tuesday or Wednesday, whichever day it was. I'll just read it straight from the New York Times article. Netflix reached a multi-billion-dollar 10-year deal for the exclusive rights of WWE's flagship weekly show, Raw, as the streaming giant broadens its offerings to live more content. The deal will bring Raw to Netflix starting next January. Netflix and TKO Group, the WWE's parent company, said in a statement Tuesday, Netflix will also own the rights to stream other shows, specials outside of the United States. 10-year deal, $5 billion, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so let's break it all down. First and foremost, whoever has Netflix needs to DM me because I can trade you a sub of your choice, whatever that might be. My first guess would probably be Peacock would be coming back your way. But just to break it all down, obviously it's kind of a big deal just in the sense for people that don't have Netflix, like myself. Apparently the Netflix numbers jumped up. Let me make sure I say this right. 13.1 million subscriptions, the largest fourth quarter gain in company history once this announcement came out. So obviously the WWE fans have come in abundance to sign up for Netflix in ahead of time to make sure that they are on Netflix ready to go.
That happened after the announcement?
I'll read it straight from the article. Hours later, Netflix said in the earnings announcement that it had added 13.1 million subscriptions for the largest fourth quarter gain in company history.
It wasn't because of WWE, though. That's just 13.1 million, like, in their fourth quarter. Like, it wasn't like they announced it and 13.1 million marks just signed up for WWE.
Gotta go. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I'll take it from the word of the BFR, the financial advisor.
I don't know. I think Mark Ortolan might have a super CG scooped you this week on Friends of BFR. Find us on Facebook, Friends of BFR.
He did get his ass. No question about it. So obviously that being the turning wheels of how we watch Raw going forward of January 2025 will change. But I guess the bigger picture of it all is $5 billion going to the WWE's pocket over the next 10 years. It's not like they need more money. They're just printing cash at this point. This year will be the first year where they're going to Australia, Berlin, God knows where, in the latter 6 months of 2024. So, I mean, WWE right now, at least on one side of the fence, has had a pretty good week. Go ahead.
Not on the other side of the fence.
We're going to get to it,
Zach, what you think about this?
It's definitely intriguing, and it kind of shows the landscape of overall just entertainment, because the reason you see a lot of declining numbers in wrestling is not necessarily because of wrestling, it's because of cable television. Like, fewer and fewer people pay for cable. I haven't paid for cable in 10 fucking years. And I watch wrestling every single week. I just figure out a way. So it's, people just don't want to pay for cable, and these rights fees are going up and up and up. And I mean, the NFL, everybody's getting record increases. And I mean, this is pretty smart for Netflix. It's a good deal for both sides. Netflix gets them locked in for a very long time. And if the rights fees continue to escalate, that's good for Netflix because there's inherent value built in there. And if they don't, it's still good for WWE because there's guaranteed money. Netflix can drop it after 5 years if they're not performing. But I imagine if you're looking to do live television, if you're looking to get into the live television game, wrestling is a fantastic property to acquire because it's every single week. It has a dedicated fan base.
It's sports-esque. People still want to watch it live.
Exactly. It absolutely is sports-esque, and it has that dedicated fan base. So, yeah, they can dump it after 5 years if they're not performing, but I imagine they'll be performing. Raw is usually the number one entertainment television show every single week. AEW Dynamite is usually the top 3 of entertainment shows during the week, so non-sports. And those are just the facts. And they got them for 10. They can also extend that for another 10. So they got them locked in. And I think there's an increase, a built-in increase, if they extend it past the 10. But WWE's on Netflix for the foreseeable future, and I think it's a good fit. I'm happy. I've got Netflix. I've had Netflix since discs, and I've always been a subscriber. I've never canceled it, and not even for a single month. And I was actually kind of debating about it because I have a lot of other streaming services, so this will keep me on, and I think it'll generate a lot of new subscriptions for Netflix. Cool thing is the library. and also it being like a 3-hour show. Like I watched the Hulu version today, and I did not get to see Chad Gable and Ivar, which I'm sure was probably pretty dope.
It was great.
Yeah, didn't get to see it because it wasn't on my version. So I watched it
Better than I anticipated for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, that's enough for me. But yeah, it's definitely a huge news story, and I fully expect USA, whenever SmackDown, they're done with their SmackDown deal. I imagine Netflix making a large bid for SmackDown also because they will have it everywhere else in the world. So that's one thing too. As the resident financial reporter here on Band from Ringside,
yes,
must point out the caveat that this is not. They're not going from $265 million to $500 million a year just for Raw. This is all of the non-United States rights bundled together, plus PLE, premium live events all together. So it's not like they're getting twice the money for just Raw in the United States. They're getting a lot of money for a lot of rights in a absolute fuckload of countries. And I think I might sign up for a VPN so that I can just pretend that I'm in one of those other countries and get all that shit on one streaming service instead of multiple. Anyway,
when did SmackDown premiere on Fox? 2019, or as I like to call it, the Cain Velasquez era.
It was 20. I think it was 2019. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's whenever Dynamite started, and I feel like it was around the same time.
So I think that this WWE going to Netflix in 2024 is as big of a deal as WWE going to Fox primetime on Friday nights in 2019. I think that Netflix as a brand is like pretty ubiquitous in American culture, at least. And there's a lot of shit on Netflix that is in the cultural dialogue a lot. And a lot of stuff that's not very good sometimes, too. But goddamn, that F1 show, what's it called? Like, that F1 show, people talk about that show. People watch that show, and now F1 has, like, a new fan base off of that Netflix docuseries. WWE is made for this shit. There will be reality shows, supplemental entertainment, those documentaries. Man, when shit shows up on your Netflix, you are way more apt to watch it than you have to seek out Peacock to watch WWE. You don't have to seek out Netflix because way more people have Netflix than have Peacock. This is a massive, massive deal. And I don't want to get hyperbolic, you knew what I meant.
Yeah.
I don't want to get hyperbolical, but like this might be like kind of the future of WWE is basically you watch regular wrestling, which is like a docuseries anyway, but it's a kayfabe docuseries, and you put that alongside real docuseries, and then you're going to start fucking with storylines. There's a lot of different ways they can go with this, and creative people can really do a lot, and way more eyes will be on it because it's on Netflix. I really think this is a massive deal.
SmackDown moved to Fox on October 4th, 2019. Kind of piggybacking on what Zach was saying about
Cain Velasquez Day.
God damn, that was a...
God, you remember all the Vincels defending that on Twitter? Oh, God, they really showed their ass.
Man,
that's like
man,
a prank
man.
to see how far they'll go. Oh, that sucked.
Never again. Piggybacking what Three Bear was saying about streaming services and, the way this is going. The Chiefs game this weekend was on Peacock, and didn't have it.
It was a mess, dude, because I have Peacock and people use my Peacock, but you can only have 3 devices on at one time. I had 2 different people text me and be like, you have to tell people to get off your Peacock so I can watch a Chiefs game. It's like, nah, dude.
Figure it out. It's about to say, I don't give a fuck about the Chiefs, but ultimately...
Just change your password.
Yeah, man.
About to say, I'll fix you motherfuckers.
From Charlie Sheen 69.
I think that's the way that this all is going to go. WWE's kind of just jumped the line and just beat everybody to, okay, we're going to do a streaming service with Netflix.
I'm
and
telling you,
it going.
this is way bigger
The
for
NFL
WWE than it is for Netflix.
Watch the NFL do the same thing now, because now they've seen all the chaos that ensues, so now people are going to want to watch their football teams the same way that we as marks are going to want to watch our wrestling.
It's a bubble, man. It's going to burst at some time. At one point, people are just going to be like, man, fuck the Chiefs.
I say, no, you saw that
It's
shit
going to burst.
You saw that shit work. Motherfuckers was coming out, and when they wanted to watch the game, they were trying to find a way around Peacock the same way people were trying to find a way around Netflix. This is the way that it's going to be moving forward. Streaming services, Netflix, Peacock, Hulu. If you don't got one, you better get one, because ultimately this is where I think it's all going to go, especially on the way of sports.
Any other thoughts on the big deal, Zach?
It's good for WWE once because what is one of their biggest kind of problems with the cable is they have an aging clientele. It's a lot of over 50s, and streamers are more traditionally younger. So
how is it going to work?
Skewing
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's they get that younger skewing demographic.
Yeah, because everybody that watches wrestling is our age. I think that's beginning to change, but in general, it's true. How's it going to work with commercials?
I just think
they will likely run they'll still have commercials. Nick Khan said there will be commercials, but hopefully they stop running commercials in the middle of matches because they won't have to hit times.
Oh, man, the stuff that they're going to do, like the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match.
Fuck
off.
Yeah.
But it's going to be like the Bridgerton bra and panties match.
Oh, Jesus Christ almighty.
I'd watch that.
I am no pervert.
But I would watch it.
Advertisements for...
Yeah, I mean, that's all I got about that. We're not, we do have a business reporter and a journalist, but that's not the skew of the show, So I don't know how much more we can say about this, but it is wild, and it is big news. We are in such an era we are going through quite the era of pro wrestling right now. It is, it's really something. I mean, don't you think? It's just wild what's going on now. The quality, the quantity, Jesus.
Yeah, the movement of talent, the whole shebang. It's an amazing. And I'm not saying it's all AEW, but just on the WWE side of things, it's been just a wild last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, I think we can thank Cody for that. Let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
Bradley can. He's like the tiny domino. It's like Vince wants. It's like the tiny domino is Vince wants Cody to wear makeup, and the big domino is WWE signs $10 billion deal with Netflix.
Like the fucking butterfly effect.
Yeah, right. It really was. Thank you, Cody. 2 Beer, what's the 2 count?
We gonna talk about this, man?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about Vince, too. Sorry, my bad. I was thinking that was a different count, but you're right. That's not a different count. Yeah. So Jason, tell us about Vince.
Yo, boy.
Jason, read the text messages from front to back, the entire things. It'll take, no, I'm kidding. It'll take 20 minutes.
I was about to say, I had that shit up in 5 seconds. Don't be fucking with me.
Tell the people what happened.
It would just, then Bill has a fucking lifetime worth of drops.
Oh my God. Come dripping out of all 3 holes. It's like, God damn, Vince. For those of you that don't know, that is not a joke. That is literally part of the text. Jason, tell the people what happened with Vince.
So, obviously, we had talked about this before Vince got ousted. I believe this was in 2020 when this initial sexual allegation lawsuit came up, and it was apparently settled, but apparently it wasn't settled because somebody didn't get their money, and now the checks are coming out.
Fucking just shake out your ashtray, Vince. It was $3 million.
You better pay this girl.
What the fuck, dude?
God damn. So obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, if you haven't been paying attention, the allegations have come out with receipts of text messages from this woman. I'm not even going to try to dig up her name at this point. And Vince McMahon. I'm not even going to read these text messages. I just...
No, her name was, we should say it, it was Linda McMahon.
You ain't shit. I'm just going to read...
This is just a man texting his wife.
Cabinet member.
Yeah.
I can't even... Now you just put the image of Linda McMahon doing all that nonsense. Hard pass, thank you.
We still haven't told the people what happened.
I'm just going to read it off the USA Today article, and then we can just go from there. A woman who worked for WWE and received a payout from the company has filed a lawsuit against WWE and Vince McMahon on Thursday that alleges that the wrestling company founder took part in sex trafficking and put her through extreme sexual acts that
Strong
were done
words.
with, quote, extreme cruelty and degradation. The former head of talent relations, John Laurinaitis, is also named in this suit. So
I am no pervert.
apparently defecating on someone in the midst of a threesome might say otherwise, Vince, but we can talk about that.
Not here to kink shame.
Look, I'm just calling it, calling it what it is. Shit, Janelle Grant is the,
that doesn't say your name. Yeah,
the
it's
former
public.
employee
It's
for WWE, said that McMahon made her sign a non-disclosure agreement about their relationship for an agreed amount of $3 million. However, Grant didn't receive the full payment from McMahon and wants to avoid the agreement from with the lawsuit. Now, there's been other articles I've seen that she's gotten multiple other things outside of this $3 million, gift cards, tea sets from Saudi Arabia, yada, yada, yada. I'm not sure the $3 million should be the deal breaker of it. Ultimately, that's not the point. The point is now Vince being ousted, at least for me, being ousted from WWE shouldn't even be talked about at this point. WWE's in a pretty good spot, at least talent-wise, on-screen-wise.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, I think this ultimately gets him out of the picture of WWE/TKO, wherever the fuck you want to call it. But I just think it's a little weird how this is coming out now. Not defending Vince. Vince is a piece of shit. We all know this. Go read the article. Go see the text. You can see how bad it gets. A little weird how it comes out now when Vince is already gone and we're just talking $3 million. Is $3 million the end all to be all after you got all this other shit?
I mean, Zach, what do you think, and have you ever tried any of those things that he was describing?
I've got a pretty I grew up on the internet, so I got a pretty strong stomach for stuff, and this fucking really made me sick reading it. And the most insane part to me, and you were talking about on the group text, which I was not able to participate in because I was busy. But
Thank God,
dude, the most offensive part is really the spelling. I mean, who spells pussy Pussey?
The English majors strike again.
So Ham texted me at 3:30 or something. He's like, "Have you seen the new Vince McMahon texts?" And I was like, "Ooh, here we go." And that was the first thing that I said to him. I was like, does he really, when he texts, does he use the letter U instead of the word you? And he texted like a 22-year-old on Twitter.
No doubt.
No, this fucking.
It's the only thing that makes me think it might be fake.
I don't think so.
I almost want to agree.
He's almost 80 years old. You know that he started texting because he was rich, and he had every pagers and everything, so he was used to the abbreviation. Probably just got used to that. But dude, the descriptions, I mean, it was all horrible. It's the worst thing
really bad
you can imagine. But he like his description, it was like you suddenly taught my 5-year-old nephew like a bunch of terrible, dirty, like sex words.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
He's like, I want them to shove their cock down your throat as far as they can, but even farther.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
What are you, 6 years old?
It is so childish, and like I guess you would call that like a humiliation kink.
Yeah.
You would think that he would want to be humiliated, though. Like, I thought that was the thing, is that guys with power like to be humiliated. That's always the that's the way I think about guys in power, though.
Dude, like, you can tell just as a WWE fan that Vince has a humiliation kink for other people.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
You think, like, he's been humiliating people for fun.
I mean that's a really
Dusty
good
Rhodes
point.
and Polka Dot. Like, FTR shaving each other's backs. Like, all the fucking
The
shit.
Kiss My Ass Club.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Man.
Like, he's probably been blasting ropes to his own show for years.
He is the genetic jackhammer.
And he's like, I mean, the dude never grew up. He's 76 doing this stuff. He's a 76-year-old man, like, doing this stuff. Like, that makes it even worse. I don't know, man. It's like, it's so ridiculous. But, yeah, you feel so bad. Because you know that she's
No, I
not
don't feel
the
bad
only
for
one.
that motherfucker. Not at all, man. Fuck that.
No, not him.
Oh, he feels bad for the girl.
Man, oh, man, I don't feel that
I'm
bad
saying,
for her
like,
either.
You don't feel
No.
bad for her?
Dude,
Are you
I'm
fucking
sorry.
crazy?
No, I am sorry. She is over here willingly going back. Blow the fucking whistle. I am sorry. There is a certain point where you have come up, and this is the fork in the road where if you decide you're going to go down this road and keep fucking with Vince, this is what you end up getting. If you say, hey, you know what, Vince, we cool, but I'm going to have to get another job or do whatever I need to do and not go down this road,
hold on,
then
hold
you
on,
got to go down that
hold
road
on,
too.
Hold on. We shouldn't victim blame here, though. We really shouldn't.
Yeah, that's a terrible take, Jason. I love you, but that's like the worst thing you've ever said in your entire life.
Yeah. Like we gotta give her some breath. But so he's got to be gone for good, right?
Oh, I mean, TKO, they put the word horrific in their very general statement. Like, you don't normally those are just full of bland statements. Like, we're looking into this matter and discussing internally. Like, they said like horrific claims. Like, they're basically, I'm sure, just figuring out how to get rid of this dude as fast as possible. They're drafting up the paperwork. I would be surprised if he was still in the company by the time SmackDown airs tomorrow.
How
Damn.
long did Triple H know about this?
Oh, you know he knows. You know he knows.
Of course he does.
What he said
So-
something about it is something totally different.
I will not be watching the Royal Rumble this Saturday because of it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
I'm not saying is Vince on the show. No, then I'm watching the Royal Rumble.
I
damn,
only want
even
to
if he
see Vince.
was.
The only Vince I want to see on that show is if he blows out his quads again.
I would be surprised if Vince would be on the show, number one, and number two. Somebody put this on Twitter, and this is what made this kind of funny when he was initially ousted, and Stephanie came out, and everybody was like,
God.
thank you, Vince,
Yeah.
and then she started to rile up the crowd. That's something that I would, I always kind of look back and be like,
Yeah, right. No, that was fucking weird. That was fucking weird. And then she was gone, and then Stephanie left.
I mean,
right?
it makes a lot of sense that she's not around. One thing we didn't mention is somebody else who was mentioned in the Wall Street Journal article, which is Brock Lesnar, and they did not mention that he actually did anything, but just that this woman was unfortunately offered to him. And based on the text messages that Vince said, it sounded like he might have turned that down. I don't know. I didn't read the 77-page court document, but I will because once I have no food in my stomach, so maybe just in the morning. Just ruined my day right off the bat. But so I imagine I was fully expecting Brock to be there Saturday, and I fully expect him to
not be.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won't be at the Royal Rumble.
From what I understand, that was a part of trying to re-sign Brock Lesnar using this woman as a part of the deal. And from that point, allegedly, I believe he being Brock Lesnar watched this woman urinate or some crazy shit, called her a bitch while doing so. I don't know. That's where you have to really do the deep dive on this 77-page report, apparently, that's out there. So if you want to deep
one
dive
for every
that,
year he's been alive.
Jesus Christ. It's, I don't know. Vince, I'll be surprised if Vince goes. I just have to see it.
Yeah.
As fast as Friday, tomorrow, that even blows my mind. Is it going to happen? Ultimately, I think it does. I just don't think it happens anytime soon. I feel some way. You know how Vince is. Somehow, some way, he gets out of this every fucking time.
Enough of that, rapists. Let's get on to the 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
So speaking of shit, there was AEW Rampage.
I'm like, wait. What did AEW have shit on? Did I miss it?
No, actually, it really wasn't that bad. Rampage was pretty decent. There, I won't go through everything, but Darby Allin versus Jeff Hardy was not as bad as I thought it might be. That's on a variety of ways. That was the main event. I fully expected Jeff Hardy to get very, very hurt, but Darby pretty much threw himself all over the place and did most of the crazy stuff. Jeff, the whole story of the match is like Jeff trying to keep up with Darby. He did do a swanton off like the post onto a table or through a table on the floor. That looked like it sucked.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for the most part, this was like all Darby ping-ponging around, and they did all kinds of crazy shit, and Darby ended up rolling him up for a pin. So they kind of protected Hardy a little bit here. But yeah, did you guys see this match?
A for effort from Jeff Hardy. I mean, at least he's out there trying.
I just don't know where to.
Yeah, this is the best he's been in a minute.
I don't know where you go with the Hardys at this point, ultimately on screen. This match, it was better than what I thought it was. It wasn't by any stretch a great match, but the roll-up part was just kind of weird after you do all this crazy shit. The roll-up finish, yeah, like you said, I guess it protects Jeff, but what are you protecting Jeff from? I mean, it's not like he's going to go after a singles title, tag titles.
Title run.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you protect guys for. There's no reason to protect.
He's gonna join Jeff Jarrett's stable.
Jesus Christ.
Well, he did a job on Wednesday. So the only reason I say protected him is like he's not laying flat on his back. 2 shows in a week.
Oh, okay,
that match wasn't that bad actually with Swerve. Kind of liked it.
Yeah. That was another one where I had seen him and Matt in a tag team match, and I was like, I remember last week, I think I was like railing on them both pretty hard. Like, I was a little stoned, but I seem to remember that. And this week was a pretty decent showing. Also pretty decent showing. Chris Statlander and Queen Aminata. Good matchup. Both like tall, strong women. I thought this was a fun matchup. Queen Aminata is someone who has been pretty impressive in her losses, and they should probably start giving her wins because she's coming off pretty good in those losses. But you don't have a ton of women stars, and she's basically just jump forward to Dynamite. She lost. Oh no, wait, sorry, that was man, that's terrible. I just mixed up Queen Aminata and Red Velvet. So I caught myself. Sorry, we also had Jericho versus Seidel, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
St. Louis' own Matt Seidel.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. But anyway, go ahead.
Queen Aminata. She wrestled on Collision also. I think that's probably what you were thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably what I was thinking of. But she
also you
lost
mix up Black
right?
people.
But did she wrestle Thunder Rosa?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So I didn't.
That was on Collision.
But that did actually happen. Okay.
Yes.
All right. You could talk the most about AEW Collision, which was broadcast live from St. Louis, Missouri, Chaffetz Arena. That is my alma mater. That is the same arena where I graduated college in 2009. and that was the only time I've ever been in there. It was for my college graduation. So.
It's a good room, man. It is cool. I've seen basketball games there. I saw Fish there the night that the Blues won the Stanley Cup. That was a fucking wild night, man. When they came out in
that was
second,
a crazy night in St. Louis.
Yeah, second set. The Blues won during intermission at Fish, and then Fish opened up with Gloria and Love and Cup by the Rolling Stones, and that place was fucking electric. Could have been the Mushrooms, but that place felt electric.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was fucking wild, man. It was like that. It was quite literally the happiest place on earth. But
so did they shoot? Did you? When did you go? Did they shoot stuff before the show? Before Collision? Like, what was that like? What was it?
I don't know because I went with Vice. We miss you, Vice. See you next week. Because of schedules, we couldn't really leave until like 6:15, so we got there right when Collision started. They were taping. Okay. They were taping ROH after, but we did not stick around. Could not stick around. But it was a pretty good crowd, better crowd than I was kind of expecting after all the horror stories that you see. But opened up with Moxley versus Shane Taylor. Maybe it was because I just walked in. It'd been a while since I've been to a wrestling show like that. But that match was really cool. Ground-based. They beat the shit out of each other. I thought Shane Taylor looked really good. They were both pretty over with. I mean, Moxley was massively over with the crowd. But there seemed to be a lot of healthy respect for Shane Taylor in the room too. It was a good crowd. I didn't get a chance to watch it back on television. So what you guys think of this match?
I guess this just gives, to me, credit to St. Louis just for the fact that I was kind of wondering if this would be a scenario where people who knew who Shane Taylor was. Like you said, everybody knows who John Moxley is. No big deal. Shane Taylor is one of those names. If you watch ROH, you know who he is. If you don't, then, you got to be introduced to him. So in this scenario, I thought they did a pretty decent job to at least kind of introduce Shane Taylor before he came out and did the job. I thought the match was good. I'm a Shane Taylor guy, so I mean the fact that he lost to Keith Lee still kind of bugs me a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. Ultimately, it's just for me, what are we doing with Shane Taylor? What are we doing with Lee Moriarty? Two guys that you could do something with, but it just feels like we're using them as enhancement, whether it's for Moxley or Adam Copeland in Moriarty's case.
Zach, what you think of this match? Did it seem like a good crowd on television?
Yeah, it did. It came off really well. There was a lot of talk because the ticket sales were not very high, for a wrestling city like St. Louis, but the crowd came off really well. And, this match was good. Moxley gave Shane Taylor so much. Very, very generous.
He did.
In this match. And although he did fucking nail him with a forearm at one point. But, he gave him 90% of the match. And, it was good. He even sold for, what's his name out there? Lee Moriarty on the outside.
Mm-hmm. So. Yep. Up next, you'll have to help me if I'm missing stuff because I didn't write it down. But up next, I believe, was Edge versus Dante Martin. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
It was.
So live, it looked to me like Edge was playing heel. He was playing to the crowd. I don't know if it was during picture-in-picture or during the commercial or whatever, but he was playing to the crowd directly behind the announcer's table, like really heelish. Did that come across on television at all, or was I just high?
No, I thought it came across a little bit. Nothing where it was like, is Edge turning heel, but it was weird just because on this babyface run he's had, Edge is, has been so over and everybody hates Christian, yada, yada, yada. Maybe it's the fact that Dante Martin is an over young superstar, and Edge felt like, this might have been a time to, really get people invested into the match. I didn't think much of it because ultimately I knew where the story was going to end, but I would be lying if I didn't say to myself, this is a little peculiar. 3-Beer, what you think? Did you see this?
Yeah, I thought it kind of came off to me that he was just kind of like the cocky veteran, like just because Dante is such a babyface, like a babyface moveset, so he just kind of pivoted a little bit. This was a fun match. My favorite part of it though was it did get This Is Awesome chance, And Nigel McGuinness says, "You hear that? This crowd's chanting Christians awesome." Fucking great commentary.
It struck me as odd. You can tell though. Like, I know there's a lot of people that are downplaying this Cope Open thing where he's just wrestling young guys. And listen, it's not my favorite. I think that there's very few guys that are at this stage in their career that could pull this over and really, especially with the guys he's wrestling. Like, if he was wrestling Miro or something, he's really going down the card with guys like Griff and guys like Lee Moriarty. Dante Martin's a little bit higher. He's held titles, and he's definitely more over, and people like him more. But you can tell that Edge came to AEW because he wants to wrestle matches. That is all he's doing right now. So this is clearly why he came to AEW. AEW clearly promised this to him, and this is what he wants to do, so enjoy it. The matches have all been enjoyable.
No, I haven't had a problem with this. It's on the lines of John Cena minus the U.S. Title, whatever the case may be. John Cena didn't wrestle all named superstars. He, anybody that came out, and with Cena out there, it was probably one, like I said, it was one of the few times I enjoyed John Cena on screen. Adam Copeland is just doing this basically the same thing, just minus the title.
What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, and it'll be fun. I think it'll especially pay off if somebody does beat him. Eventually he'll put somebody over, and that'll be cool.
Do you think somebody's going? I don't think anybody's going to beat him until he finally usurps Christian Cage.
I think maybe he won't lose until he's done with the Christian thing, but I don't know that he'll beat Christian. Or not.
Here's what
I don't know how that'll go.
Here's what this run does is that, to quote, who was it, Mike Singletary? They are who we thought they are.
No, that's Dennis Green.
No, yeah, Dennis Green. Sorry.
We got him off the hook.
Edge is what I thought he is, which is, pretty good. I'm telling you,
that was some shade.
That's what I think of him. He's pretty good.
You shady ass motherfucker, you. Damn.
Help me out here, Zach. What was next?
This was Vindicated. Queen Aminata fought Thunder Rosa, and I could have swore that this was just the Miz with some ass implants and some face paint. Because she was fucking wrestling so slow. It was like she was in fucking underwater.
Thunder Rosa?
Yeah, Thunder Rosa. Yeah.
That was that series of tweets I sent to you guys. It's like she was walking through it.
Dude, you sent that in the group text, and I was like, oh, man. I was like, maybe she's just very deliberate, and it came off, like, poorly in person. And then I watched on the TV, and I was like, this is the Miz.
Oh, man, catching shrapnel. Man, I said like a couple good jokes and nobody reacted. I was like, she wrestles like old people fuck. I said she wrestles like a 4 a.m. piss. What else did I?
Dude. Horrible.
I did not see them until much later, so I was not.
That's fair.
I don't know what I was doing.
That's fair.
I was at work. Sorry, not sorry.
She like Yadier Molina runs.
I was like, dude. I'm like, it can't be this goddamn bad. I'm like, what the fuck?
She wrestles like Yadier Molina runs. I'm tickled with myself.
I'll just say this: in Thunder Rosa's defense, this is their first singles match where that was since 2022.
You know why that piss one is a bad joke? Because 4 a.m. piss is it's more like a fire hose, dude.
Yeah, you're going to be there for a little bit.
I'm blasted against the wall. I'm like, whoa! Anyway, sorry.
I did forget. I was just looking back in our group text. I forgot on Rampage. Ruby Soho choked Haley, what's her name, in the back. And
Harley
I think
Cameron.
that on Harley Cameron, that unlocked something in me.
As soon as she did that, I was like, yeah, we're going to talk about this on Thursday for sure.
Yeah, we can put a pin in it until Bo's back.
No.
I am no pervert.
But three guys who are Billy Gunn and the Acclaim. So That's their whole fucking gimmick. It's been Billy Gunn's gimmick for like 40 years, but I got fucking 2 words for you.
Yeah, right.
I mean, when it says his name is Daddy Ass on the Chirons when they're like advertising for the match, I'm like, man, can you imagine if you were just flipping through and you ever watched wrestling in like 15 years? Or if you've never seen wrestling, you're like, oh, my kid in college likes it. I'm going to turn it on. You turn it on. There's a guy named Daddy Ass.
Seriously, so like I was pretty stoned for this, and I wanted to ask you how it came off of the building because I'm super high and I'm watching, and like Tony Schiavone is on there. So yeah, if you're somebody who hasn't watched wrestling forever, like Tony Schiavone's like calling this, and there's this segment where it's the Bang Bang Scissor Gang super group is trying to get together, and it's Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed and the Bang Bang Gang of the Ass Boys and Switchblade Jay White, and so like they're doing this, and Tony, this is something you wouldn't notice because you were in the building, but Tony Schiavone is like, this is a big moment, guys, and I'm like, dude, you like called the inception of the NWO. Like, it's not a big moment.
That was the
holy shit.
That was the most that place was alive the entire night. I was shocked by it. Absolutely.
Proves to me what I said. Like the Acclaimed, they're fun, but they are 100% a house show act because that shit came across way better in house probably than it did on TV.
Oh my God, that place was going nuts. I could not believe that people wanted this. I was like, they're not really doing this. And then when they all came out on Dynamite, I was like, what the fuck is this? What kind of faction
I think it's going
is
to be
that?
great. The only reason I think it's great is not because of the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, which is funny. I think it's great because they're going to turn on them in like 2 to 3 weeks, and it's going to be
it's not going to last very long. I think it could be great too. I will say, if a year ago you were like, Jay White's going to be in AEW, it's going to be like, fuck yes. What's he going to be doing? He's in the super faction with Daddy Ass.
Who apparently is chasing singles gold.
Right.
Yeah, wait, dude, what the fuck is going on? Okay, I agree with what you guys said. Probably the biggest pop all night long. But then when, like, I think it was Max Caster.
It definitely was.
Max Caster was like, you guys could be doing this. Jay White could be going for the AEW title. Daddy Ass is, going for singles gold. I'm like, I get it. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't sound right. Jay White making the save as a baby face. I'm like, what in the fuck in this? No.
It puts like they put no work into this angle at all. They haven't even addressed in the angle that one guy from the Acclaimed is the dad of 2 guys in the Bang Bang Gang. They don't even talk about it.
They kind of talk about it, but I mean...
They mentioned it on commentary Saturday, and I think that's why I was making fun of Schiavone, because he was like, we're about the reunion of the sons and the dad.
No, the NWO reference is perfect. I'm like, dude, he's like, oh, this is a big moment. I'm like, is it? I'm like, I don't understand.
I could not believe people wanted to see it. I didn't want to see it. I was like, I want Jay White to kick their ass.
Right. Like you said. And then when they all joined up, I was like, man, this is how Jay White is starting AEW. This is crazy
when
talk.
they turned around like they were getting ready to punch and then they did the scissors instead, that place erupted.
No doubt. I was like, wow, okay. What else?
Yeah, I thought I had my finger on the pulse. I couldn't believe it.
I'm not saying that I think people like both sides. So the fact that that they're together is great for some wrestling fans. For me, as a Jay White fan, this is the worst case scenario of all time because now he feels like he's been relegated to this super faction that ultimately is not going anywhere, is not getting Jay White closer to the AEW championship. So for me, big pass on this.
What's next?
You got a night of really great wrestling. Like as far as match quality, outside of the women's matches, is really good. Buddy Matthews and Daniel Garcia. Holy shit!
Yeah, this was the match of the night for me. I basically couldn't take my eyes off of Buddy Matthews. He sold that he injured his knee, and man, he sold the shit out of it. Like, he had me worked. I was like, they are going to call this match. I was like, no, something fucked up. And Bo was like, don't you think he's just selling? I was like, no, I think something really fucked up. I think they're going to call this match like they did the other week with Carmelo Hayes and Austin Theory. But then Buddy Matthews starts pulling out all this shit, and I'm like, holy shit,
Got your ass.
I mean, I felt like I was at an old school. I felt like I was at the fucking Sportatorium or something. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm just here for the show. And I got worked. He worked me. It was very cool. I had a great time getting worked. And I was really it got me really into the story of the match because I was like, when are they going to call this? And I was like, oh, no, he's fighting through it. And I was like, oh, no, he was fucking with me. He's at full strength now. He worked me. I loved it. One of my favorite matches I've ever seen in person. I fucking loved this.
It was really good.
Yeah, I guess my takeaway from it is, I feel not bad for Buddy Matthews, but he just feels like he's being underutilized. And this was a perfect example of what he can do if given the opportunity and the platform to do so. If he gets that chance, great. I don't know. It feels like, Brody King has kind of stepped ahead of him. Aleister Black, obviously. Malachi Black, obviously.
What an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, can we do something with this shit? I mean, they've already been the trios champs. I mean, we can't go back to that, I don't think. At some point, are we going to have one of them break off and, go after a singles title? I mean, you got it, then let's use it. I mean, Buddy Matthews is dope. He should at least be chasing Orange Cassidy at the bare minimum, or Christian or something.
I'll say this:
he's having this great match, and then what?
I'll say this about Buddy Matthews: he has the best male body in the history of the world.
I will pretend like you never said that.
In the history of the world.
In the history of the world.
Jesus.
You can't get better. That is a 10 out of 10.
I mean, he did body Alexa Bliss and Rhea Ripley.
That's range.
I'm not going to sit up here and say the man ain't got game. I mean, damn, you gave me a little accent. I might have a little game too, motherfucker. I mean, what the fuck?
I'll tell you
I bet he's hung like a rope swing.
Rene Dupree's entered the chat.
Forgot about Rene Dupree. Just hanging
Holy
dong.
Fucking Zack Sabre Jr., which it's not the Mighty Dope Neil. It's too much dick, kid.
That's never going away. Oh my God! When people ask me what my TMDK shirt means from now on,
too much dick, kid.
That's it. This God is not getting any better than this. Hit the music. We are done.
Good shit.
There's another great match: Roderick Strong versus hometown hero Matt Sydal, and both of these guys have been wrestling for a very long time. And like usually, as you get older, you slow down, and these guys did not. They fucking went out there and just had a very aggressive match. I really like this match. Probably, I think still the Garcia and Matthews match was match of the night here, but this was a strong contender.
Matt Sydal, St. Louis loved their own, and they, I'm assuming, came off like that on TV, but like they were hot for Matt Sydal, and Roderick Strong made him look good, but Matt Sydal made Roderick Strong look fucking great.
He sold the shit out of that backbreaker. I was
that finisher looked legit dangerous. It's like, God damn, he really threw him up there.
Oh, he got some height. Sydal sold the shit out of the backbreaker. I was like, oh, okay. I need a cigarette. What the fuck? No, that was a really good match. I agree that the Buddy Matthews Garcia match was better just because for me it's two up and coming guys, having a banger ass match. These two guys are going to have one. You didn't know if Buddy Matthews and Garcia would translate to what it is.
Those two guys have been around the block together too, so
yeah.
Yeah, and then main event, Eddie Kingston and Ortiz versus Blackpool Combat Club, which in this instance was Danielson and Claudio. Started off with a pose-off. This guy's it was just Eddie and Danielson doing poses for the crowd. Who was the crowd more into in the building?
Eddie.
Eddie, yeah.
But not by a mile. It was a different pop. It was a different pop than, it was pretty equal, actually.
I thought it was even.
But that crowd was hot for both. Eddie was way over as a babyface. Big time. I mean, more so than Moxley, even.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Huh.
That's cool. And then, I mean, Ortiz is out there, from the beginning, he's out there to take the pin. But at the same time,
as soon as I saw that shit, I was like, shit.
Yeah. There's worse things to be doing than the job in the main event of a television show. So,
yeah,
I'm sure he wasn't mad about it.
Fuck it, I ain't been on TV in how long? Shit, I'll eat this pin. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a good fit for him. Like, I'm not saying he has to be a tag team guy, but there's so many wrestlers in the roster that it's hard to get time anyway. And so if you put him with Kingston, who gets TV time, whose gimmick is that he just hates promos, which is so funny for a guy who is so good at them. But every time he cuts a promo, it's like, when can we be done with this? You just interrupted my meditation. I'm trying to go out here for a match. I'm about to either get beat up or I'm going to beat somebody up. And you got Elton John over here like, nah.
I want to see Eddie cut a promo in the ring. It seems like it's been a while since he's done so. This match was exactly what you thought it would be. It was really fun. It was way more goofy, starting with the pose off. Like, they went out there to have a little bit of fun, and they did. Eddie is like really old school wrestling. Like, I mean, at least he was there. He plays, more than a lot of guys, what it seemed like. We were in the terrace, so we were kind of looking down, and he plays to the back of the house. Like, he plays real big, which is kind of weird because it seems like he's the type of dude that, he didn't spend as many years in front of huge crowds like that, like some of the other guys do, but very old school in that way. That's the way that I saw it.
To me, the two takeaways from this match, obviously the number one takeaway, at least for me, was Danielson not having the eye patch. Good, bad, or indifferent, not having it at least signal something, at least to me, that the eye is at least getting better to where now he doesn't have to walk around in the ring with that. The second part, just fast forward into the end where Danielson spat on Eddie Kingston. To me, that is smacking your mama, stealing from your grandma. There's certain things you just don't do. Spitting on another man, that's the ultimate form of disrespect as far as I'm concerned. So to me, Kingston and Danielson are going to have to run it back for this Continental Crown title, whatever you want to call it. It felt like Danielson was kind of, being a little heelish as the match went on. Once he spat on him, I was like, okay, that's full heel on type shit. So to me, that was the takeaway. The biggest takeaway from that match is now we're going to probably get Eddie Danielson part 2 with more stakes on it with the title on the line. So that's something to look forward to. I don't see Eddie losing, but it's Bryan Danielson. Weirder shit has happened, so we'll see what happens.
Right on. We had AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, opened up with Samoa Joe, and he got the promo basically that folks got to get on his level, and basically he's going to be putting motherfuckers out just like he did Hook last week. Hook comes out.
I was like,
no.
I was like, don't catch that work again. Damn, boy.
Yeah, but he shakes Samoa Joe's hand, says, I'll see you again. Samoa Joe says, I bet you will. Then he starts, then he kind of disrespects him and has security come in.
Get this unworthy man out of my ring. I was like, damn.
Yeah. But Hook throws the security around and just kind of heats Hook back up a little bit. But, be interested. I guess I still feel like we're on the Swerve and Hangman grind because next we had Adam Page and Penta El Zero Meadow, and Adam Page was out there. And besides a really good match between Paige and Penta. The real story was Samoa Joe on commentary and Paige looking at him like the entire match.
No, just Samoa Joe on commentary was perfect. I wish he would have been there for like all the matches that had something to do with him. Swerve and included obviously versus Jeff Hardy. Maybe interested to see how he would have looked at Wardlow if he would have been on that match as well. But this match was, it was a good match. Don't get me wrong. Penta is one of the best you have on the roster. He can do basically anything you need him to do, whether it's singles, tag, trios, whatever the case may be. But yeah, the story of the match was, Paige and Samoa Joe feeling like they're on a collision course with Swerve coming right behind, with the rankings now coming back. That's going to have some sort of play into this. Even Samoa Joe was, put the rankings back over, and it was basically like, now this is a way to keep the unworthy away from me. So this is all a play into what's going to happen to Samoa Joe. But then on the back end, you're going to be looking at the rankings and how things are going to be looking going forward.
What did I miss? Just we're talking about Joe and Hook?
Yeah, the Hook comes out, and my knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, God, please don't come out here and try to fight Joe again. You don't want that. And then, obviously, they had the little talk. Hook throws security around like a bunch of bitches.
Yeah, I don't know why Hook had to beat up
I totally get it.
It looked kind of dumb.
No, I agree with what Three Bears said. You had to get Hook looking strong again. If he throws around a bunch of random ass dudes, that's the way to do it.
I think the Hook going out there and shaking his hand and standing toe to toe with him was about as strong as he can look.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
I just don't think that looked very strong. I mean, listen, I really liked that match last week. Just let it go. Is Hook really going to see Joe again? I don't know.
Yeah, it actually came up. I saw it twice because I Googled Big Samoan fucks twink, and that was the first thing that popped up.
Jeez.
I am no pervert.
But
Dad, what the fuck?
You got some good ones tonight.
Especially squeezed Orange Cassidy in the back with Renee. She asked him about Roderick Strong's challenge, and I love his answer. It's very Orange Cassidy. He's like, what's your reaction to that? He's like, my reaction to that is, okay, I'll wrestle you.
But he said he's not going to – the important thing is he said he's not going to stop wrestling, right? So, I mean, he might not go into the pay-per-view with the belt. That was his point, right?
Right.
I love that because we were just talking about this last week where Moxley challenged Naito, but they didn't say it was for the title because we don't know if Naito will have the title.
Yeah.
Whereas if they bill this for the International Championship, it's disingenuous because it's just basically telegraphing every match between here and then.
And it wouldn't make sense for Orange Cassidy to not have any title matches between now and then because he defends it twice a week.
Yeah, so, I mean, no, I love this segment just because it's classic Orange Cassidy. Don't give a fuck. I'm just going to keep doing what I do, and then I'll see you at Revolution. So in that scenario, I want to see how Roddy and the Kingdom kind of play along with this. Are they going to get involved in the Orange Cassidy matches? Are they coming out at all? They're just going to let this thing play itself out. That to me is the flip side of the Orange Cassidy coin. Whether Cassidy retains or not, I would assume that he would. But the fact that he's still going to go out and have matches to me is the big thing.
We had Young Bucks backstage and just another Young Bucks being dick heels little segment. Pretty quick, but pretty entertaining. This time they confronted Top Flight for being in the hall without a
credential,
without their credentials and not in their gear. And they're just fucking around, but nothing real big there. Just more Bucks being dicks.
A lot of backstage wrestling comedy is bad. This was good.
Yeah, Nick Jackson is legitimately hilarious. Like, I know you guys didn't watch a lot of the Being the Elite stuff, but that guy is so understated and like underrated as far as like his comedy chops go. Matt tends to do more of the talking between the two in the group, but dude, Nick Jackson is fucking funny. Anyway, then we had a match, the Undisputed. Oh yeah, so this was just Wardlow versus Trent Beretta, but Undisputed Kingdom's out there, and of course, it adds some intrigue to the international title picture because Trent and Orange are close, and Roddy, of course, is in the Kingdom. But this was not a squash. It was a little bit more. I mean, obviously, Wardlow came off very strong and he ended up winning, but he did have to sell some, so he didn't just run everybody over. But it seems like they're really heating Wardlow up again in the same way. It's not entertaining, it's not riveting, but it seems like they're doing the same thing again. And I imagine he might be a TV contender to Joe, somebody that Joe can beat and look even stronger by beating this big, strong boy.
Could see that. Flip, Trent, heel. Flip, Trent, heel. Flip, Trent, heel. I'm ready for a Trent Beretta heel run.
Agreed. I thought it was going to happen
and
last
I
week.
do like seeing more of them, though.
No, Trent can go. It's just, like I said last week, I think we've exhausted all we can do with Trent being a babyface. Pushing Orange Cassidy post-match, is another step towards the dark side. So, ultimately, I think we get there now.
I didn't see that. He did that Wednesday night?
I'm pretty sure that was Wednesday night. Yeah, I'm going to say it was after the match, and Undisputed Kingdom was coming into the ring, and then Best Friends, basically cut him off because looks like they were getting ready to stomp Trent into a mud hole. Then Best Friends cut him off, so Undisputed Kingdom left or whatever, and then they went back into the ring or whatever, and Orange Cassidy was coming over to help Trent up, and Trent pushed him off or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go. So I was waiting for something to actually kind of happen there, but nothing ends up happening. So to me, that's just, it's another baby step to the dark side. When do we get there? Does Trent cost Orange Cassidy the international title? That would be a nice little heel turn if you wanted to do it. So things to look forward to.
Then we had a fun segment between Tony Storm and Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna Purrazzo seemed a little bit more in her skin this week. I feel like whenever she debuted and she got that promo, I was kind of giving her some shit because she seemed nervous and she didn't come off like Mariah May, who was like brand new, came off much better than her. But this was fun, and I think my favorite part of the entire thing was that they would show them in the same camera shot, but they would have Tony Storm's hat black and white. I guess one thing to have like the whole thing black and white, but I thought that was a fun, clever little bit of production.
Yeah, it was super fun.
No,
I mean, I laughed.
No, I totally laughed when they pulled back did a wide shot and they showed it. I was like, damn, that's good shit. They are going full board, leaning into this timeless Tony Storm gimmick. And I'm all for it. I'm here for the ride. The tattoo portion of the segment was the tipping point to see Tony to finally snap, and was like, you know what, fuck this shit. But no, I agree with you too, Beer. This was more so Deonna Purrazzo looking more comfortable, whatever you want to call it. I just don't think that she's geared to talk. She's geared to wrestle. So if you want to, put her in these segments, this was probably as good as it's going to get. You don't want to keep going back to this if you don't absolutely have to.
Yeah, Deonna Purrazzo came off as on her level and as a legit, opponent for her, if not for the title, just in story. Like, it seems interesting. And
they have a backstory. That's always interesting.
Yeah, and the shit that they're doing with Tony Storm, with all the production stuff that they're doing and the vignettes and everything, they're really playing into the strengths of that character quite a bit, and she is having a really fun run as champion. Dare I say maybe the best run that we've seen from an AEW women's champion in a long fucking time, since Britt Baker, I'd say.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Good on that.
Yeah, pretty clever. When she started out, she said, I believe you were recently body shamed, which I think is ridiculous because there's so much more to shame about you. And I was like, oh, Man, this is the hottest
God
Jeffrey Ross has
damn.
ever looked.
That's a good line.
Joey came out fired. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. And then Mox cut a very Mox promo that basically, like I was saying, Joe at the beginning, he was said, folks need to get on my level because I'm going to beat them down. He didn't actually say get on their level, but John Moxley said, I don't know if he said he had to get in my level, but he's like, you need to keep up. And I was like, that's a fucking John Moxley thing and a half. Like, I feel like if I was like around John Moxley and the level that he performs at in like promos and like in the ring, I'd be like watching that dude and I'd be like, fuck, I need to keep up. Like, I need to do better because he fucking kills it all the time with this shit. Yeah, anyway, that's it. It was just Moxley promo.
He kind of cut the same promo on Collision after the match.
Oh, right on, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know if that was on commercial or not, but I guess it was on.
No, it was on. I remember the thing that I remember the most was him saying, and he kind of said it again on Wednesday night. He was like, friend or foe, you got to get up to my level. You got to keep up. And I don't know if that was a shot across the bow to Blackpool Combat Club or not. It almost felt like it just because, that's the way my mind works. But it was, just another John Moxley intriguing ass promo that made me want to, fast forward to April, see him and Naito in Chicago. So, Moxley's Moxley.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy and Swerve Strickland, like we mentioned, was way more entertaining than I thought it would be. That's about all I have to say about it, though. You guys got anything else?
No.
No, crowd being split between Swerve and Jeff Hardy was a little surprising, but ultimately they came back around towards the end. So, better match, like you said, better match than I thought.
So, next week is going to be weird because they have dealer's choice. So, Swerve is going to pick Adam Page's opponent, and Adam Page is going to pick Swerve's opponent. That's a weird gimmick for me.
Yeah, I really don't. There was no explanation for it either, so it's like, okay.
It's the kind of way to extend the storyline.
I mean, I get the purpose of it. I just don't get the
I'm not a huge fan of the
kayfabe reason.
It's, I guess, here's the point that I think is
who made that decision? Tony Khan?
Yeah. I don't know. I just not a fan of the dealer's choice gimmick. Ultimately, it kind of feels
Adam
like
Pearce is all elite.
Yeah, right. It kind of feels like that, we're running out of ideas, so here's an idea to keep the storyline going. You don't you don't even have to have these guys on the show if you really don't have to. You got a whole roster of motherfuckers that want to get on the show. Put somebody else on for a week.
Yeah, but we criticize them for not really having we criticize them for having too many storylines, so at least they're just sticking with Swerve and Hangman. We can't criticize them both ways.
I don't criticize. I don't criticize.
Yeah, maybe you don't. Maybe I'm just talking about myself.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think they don't have.
Maybe I should look in the mirror. Maybe I should take a long look in the mirror.
That's between you and the mirror. I'm just saying, in this scenario where you got, we were just talking about, fill in the blank, can't get on TV because the roster's so big. You don't have to have a dealer's choice to keep Swerve and Hangman going.
No.
It's all that ball is already going. The inertia.
Although Hangman still doesn't seem as mad at him as he should be. I mean, backstage the other night, they seemed like Zach Morris and AC Slater, like they were best pals, but they don't actually get along. It's like, no, wait a minute. Swerve ate, or fucking Nana ate your wife's blueberries, dude.
Kicking skillets and shit.
You should still be super mad at him.
I think that was just a reprieve of, civility at that moment.
I'm talking about kayfabe style.
Kayfabe style.
That they should be, Hangman should still be wanting to kill those guys.
Look, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying for that one moment, Hangman was not worried about Swerve trying to troll him about 2 wins. The goal is the AEW championship, and Swerve ain't got it. Fuck Swerve. That's the way I took it.
Okay.
Alrighty. Sorry, what do we have next? We had, Thunder Rosa versus Red Velvet. I feel like the least said about this, probably the better. And Tony Schiavone in the ring to interview Darby Allin and Sting. And it seems like Sting and Darby Allin are going to go after the tag team titles. Being very explicit. So, what do you guys think? They are undefeated, so I mean it makes sense in kayfabe, especially because they're talking about bringing the rankings back. I'm pretty whatever on the rankings. Like, it's not something I'm gonna really worry about. It's a tool. Like, if they use it well, great. If they don't use it well, I still just want to see the matches. I want to see, even if the rankings aren't the way that they are. So if they give me better matches, I'm fine. But somebody that's 27-0 undefeated seems like they should get a shot, rankings or no. It is interesting, though. Do you think they win the titles and then lose them at Revolution or retire with the titles? I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I have no problem with any of this. I think that kayfabe style, them being 28-0 means that they should get a title shot. And I also think it makes me want to see the outcome of the match. Like, they're telling a story. I want to see how they finish this part of the story. I want to see if they book them to lose to Ricky Starks and Big Bill, because that would be a nice little trampoline bounce for Ricky Starks and Big Bill if they can actually give Sting his only loss in AEW. Am I overthinking that, or does that seem right?
I wasn't thinking of it that way, but yeah, I mean, just because Darby and Sting are undefeated, that would make Ricky and Big Bill look better. My biggest problem with it is, why did we take so long? We could have done this.
Are we going to be mad if they give it to Sting?
I ain't gonna be mad.
Zach, you going to be mad if they give it to Sting?
Oh, hell no.
Not at all. It's cool. I might buy a fucking replica belt.
This could have been done beforehand, and then if you wanted to wrap up with the Bucks, then so be it. I'm not sure if they beat. I'm torn because I think they're going to ultimately beat Big Bill and Ricky Starks, but that doesn't do much for Bill and Ricky Starks. You don't want Sting and Darby to lose before the Bucks, but they have the titles. Do they beat the Bucks and then Sting retires? I mean, it just feels like this was like, oh, let's do this before he retires. And when they could have done this 6 months ago, 9 months ago, they've been around. Sting and Darby Allin have been a team around long enough to where they could have had a title shot. And for whatever reason,
if you didn't want to beat him, if you didn't want to beat Sting, but you also didn't want to put the title on him, you can't put him in a title match. I imagine that's the only thing that stopped it. Like, they didn't want to put the titles on him.
But now you're waiting this late? I mean, damn. March 4th or whatever it is, 3rd is creeping around the corner. It's like 5-6 weeks away. It just feels a little rushed for a title shot. If they win it and then drop it, now you've hot-shotted the titles. It just feels like it's more problematic than what it should be, and at least short-term and then long-term. Like I said, hot-shotting the titles doesn't feel like a way to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be fine with any outcome.
Look,
It's funny. Like, when I think about it in my head, when I'm going over, I'm like, oh, I'd be surprised if Starks and Big Bill beat them, but I'm like, that's pretty cool. They gave him that's a really big win. But then, if they won, if Sting and Darby won, I'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Sting's tag team champ. He's doing his retirement match as a champ. And then if he lost or won in his retirement match, I feel like I'd be happy either way too. It's just, I'm like, it's kind of, I like the story.
I'm not saying I don't like the story. I just think that at least the tag team championship part of the story, it could have been done a little sooner. Not even saying it was, this year or whatever. It just feels like now all of a sudden we got to give him a tag team championship match. I'm just like, dude, you could have done this already. But I mean, I'll say this much: A, we're talking about it, and B, we're going to watch. So I mean, C, ultimately, the job is being accomplished.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a big pay-per-view, and I think this match has a lot to do with it.
No, this match is happening on free TV, baby.
No, I'm talking about the Bucks and the Sting.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I feel like a lot of people are going to want to tune in to Sting's last match. I think that's a big draw. I mean, it's something that I might even consider spending $50 to watch on my big TV instead of streaming for free on my iPad. But
Right.
I don't even have AirPlay over here.
Hey man,
I'm broke.
if you get that triple threat we talking about, then yeah, that might be that might be worth plunking down a nice little chunk of change for it.
Yeah. But they had a trios match, Mogul Embassy versus the Acclaimed. I think the most remarkable thing out of this was they did come out as a super group, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, and I really liked Caster's rap this time. It was different flow, different delivery, and it was pretty clever. That's the most remarkable thing for me. I like Mogul Embassy. I wasn't really paying attention to this match. Maybe it was good, but it didn't keep my attention, and I was doing other shit.
Exact same.
Wow. I actually watched the match.
I love a co-host that does his homework.
Oh, well, it's kind of my job, you know. I was just a little disappointed.
That's Jason's gimmick is he watches everything. That motherfucker.
I was about to say, as I'm drinking
He
a
ain't
Red
on
Bull.
his phone.
Nah.
He ain't on his phone. He ain't reading the book. He ain't doing the dishes.
He ain't taking a
folding
shower.
the laundry.
There have been matches I've taken a shower on before, but let's not misunderstand that shit. No, I like Mogul Embassy. I just thought that this was kind of a scenario where this was geared to make Bullet Club Gold look like baby faces. Jay White comes out, snatches the chair. They power bomb one of the Gates of Agony through the table, whatever the case may be. Basically, the assist to Billy and the Acclaim to get in the win. I don't know if they turn heel right away. I agree. Ultimately, I think this implodes where Bullet Club Gold goes back to being heels, especially if and when Juice comes back. Right now, I mean, it sounds good. It'll sell some T-shirts. I'm just not sure where the fuck this goes ultimately.
The Gang Bang Gang.
Stop. That's
what they should be called.
No, that's a Vince T-shirt. Sell that shit to.
I am no pervert.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Serena Deeb. Where do you think Serena Deeb was here? She was at the soda station. She was waiting for the busser to bring the ice.
God damn, you ain't shit. Man, that girl needs to have some respect put on her name, man. She can go.
She's waiting for Deontay to bring the ice.
Stop, nigga. You ain't shit. Fingers crossed, Tony Cobb.
Dylan's supposed to be bringing the ice.
God damn.
Actually, Dylan's a perfect busser name.
Yeah, right. That's
Perfect Applebee's busser name.
I'm sure I ran across a Dylan in my travels. She has a match next week. We'll see what happens then. But, fingers crossed that Tony Khan does right by her. That's all I got.
Yeah, they've been building up. I mean, that's a lot of vignettes because we've been making these jokes for a few weeks. She's like getting the glacier treatment, like getting like vignettes every single week.
Nathan Jones.
Well, I'll say Veer is coming.
Has Nathan Jones' name ever been uttered on this podcast?
I don't think so.
That's amazing.
I don't even know who that is.
He fought The Undertaker in WrestleMania one year.
I want to say that's right.
Are you serious? He's part of the
Yeah.
streak?
Yeah,
he's part of the streak.
It was a tag team match.
Was it?
Right?
Oh, I've seen this guy.
Oh.
Yeah,
It kind of looks like Ryback.
A taller
in my
Not
head.
when I was watching, but yeah,
A
I was
taller
not watching. But
version
yeah,
of
I've seen
Ryback.
that guy.
Yeah, man. They showed vignettes of him forever. You know who else they did that really worked was Del Rio. They showed Del Rio vignettes forever, man, and he came in hot. Ooh, I fucking loved
When he first
early
came
Del
in,
Rio.
woo. He's
What
back
were
in
they? Were they all
AAA
just like
now.
they're just like spinning newspapers, hitting desks, like in camera flashes. Like what were they?
No, it was like him sitting in like a Cuba, like a Havana type spot, just talking about being rich and stuff. It was really good shit. And then,
you remember Regal? Whenever he went back to, or he went to WWF.
Yeah, real good stuff.
The real man. And he wore a hard hat.
Man's
man.
He's a man's man.
Oh, beautiful stuff.
We're way off track. We're burying the lead here, which was Edge wrestled Minoru Suzuki in 2024. I think the combined age for this match was 213. But
Edge wrestles Suzuki. Bingo!
It's definitely over 100, but it was still awesome. I love this match. It's not something I'd ever thought I'd see in my entire life, and I loved it.
It is such a weird hypothetical match in your head. What'd you think of it, Jason?
Weird how it sets up. Edge, Adam Copeland goes to Tony Khan, asks about Suzuki. Next thing you know, without Adam Copeland's knowledge, Suzuki and Adam Copeland's made for the following week, actually for yesterday or whatever.
Is that really what happened?
That's the report that I saw on Twitter, so take it for what it's worth. This is what I thought it was going to be. The two guys just squaring off in the ring, let the bell ring, and just, let them just beat the crap out of each other. So, yeah, this was entertaining, to say the least. So
it was like a gift from Tony Khan to Edge, basically?
Essentially, yeah. He wanted to wrestle Suzuki, and TK has, that pull. So he made it happen super quick. And before somebody came to Adam Copeland backstage and was like, Moxley, I think it was the one, if I remember the report correctly. Moxley comes back to Adam Copeland backstage. It's like, so what'd you think about the Suzuki match? He's like, what? Suzuki match? He's like, oh, yeah, I think, you got the match with Suzuki's on Dynamite for next week. So in that scenario, it's funny how it sets up. It was just like I thought it was going to be. Suzuki not shaking Copeland's hand post-match is perfect. Nice, short 10, 12-minute match.
He's like, Cody Gunn's like, I had to pay 6 figures for Danielson's entrance music. Like, Suzuki only cost $5,000.
Right. Exactly.
I say, dropping the bucket, baby.
Yeah, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. This was exactly what I thought it would be. It was pretty good. Suzuki, his matches are a lot of chops. We're going to stand here and fight tonight, goddammit. I almost think I think there's too many chops.
No such thing.
In wrestling, period.
No such thing. You're just you got that PTSD, that's all.
Well, Danielson's about to wrestle Yuji Nagata.
Oh my God!
Next week, so I think you're going to see a few chops in that match.
Yeah, there's going to be some chops. But I thought it was kind of funny, the guys chanting "Fight Forever" like a minute and a half into the match. It's like, okay, let's let them. Christ. Yeah, give them a second, guys.
It's simmering, guys.
Right.
It's not ready to eat.
They're still just locked up. It's like, come on, man.
They haven't even done their first double down yet.
Right. All right. Anything else from AEW?
No, we did a lot.
Okay, let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
And, I mean, this is what the week is all about, really. I mean, this is the important stuff. We're getting to it an hour and a half into the podcast. The Royal Rumble is this weekend, and the Royal Rumble is consistently the most fun to watch. It's probably the one that everybody looks forward to the most, I would say. This and WrestleMania they're really the 2 big ones. For me, I mean, if I have to skip, if it's those 2 in SummerSlam, and I can only watch 2, I'm watching the Royal Rumble and Mania. Long way to say I like the Royal Rumble better than SummerSlam. This one has got to lead off. We have to talk before we get to our predictions. We got to talk about what happened, because there was quite the segment on Monday Night Raw. It was CM Punk and Cody Rhodes face to face in a promo, and I thought that this shit fucking ruled. It really makes you think about how AEW dropped the ball with CM Punk when he would have something to say. If he would have came back from Brawl Out and had something to say about the Young Bucks and they started making money off that instantly, god damn, what a ball dropped. But I thought that CM Punk was awesome in this. I thought Cody was better. And what a segment. What'd you think of it, Jason?
Irony on both sides. Punk saying I'm the better.
I'm more American Dream than you
are. Cody reversing it. I'm more CM Punk than you are. I don't think anybody won or lost this. To me, both guys had interesting points. I'll take it one step further with AEW, quote unquote, fumbling with CM Punk. I think they did the same with Cody Rhodes, just kind of shoehorning him. Unless he just really did not want to be the AEW champion, I think it has just been hard not to see him at the top of the card in some form or fashion. Tony Khan could, if he really didn't want to do it, Tony could have talked him out of this. See him as a TNT champion is always going to be weird to me, and to never face the champion except for one time, and then the one time he had it, he lost and can never go back to have the title again. Always seemed weird to me, neither here nor there. I thought this was the next week's segment. It definitely sets up what's going to happen on Saturday night. But for me, I don't think there was a winner per se. It was really ironic to see both guys talk about past, present, future in a WWE ring in 2024.
Zach, what did you think about the segment?
That was an awesome segment. I didn't know, Cody's got that neck tattoo, but I didn't know he had Uno reverse cards on his suit lapel. He just pulled that shit out. And whenever Punk did the whole, I'm more American Dream, I was like, man, I've been shitting on Punk a lot recently. And I was like, that was a pretty good promo. And then Cody pulls out the I'm more CM Punk than you, and I was like, damn. I was like, these guys are both just glad that Drew McIntyre's not out there in the segment to make them both look not as good, because Drew's been outshining everybody on the mic in WWE, I think, recently. But anyway, this is a great segment.
Drew has been awesome. Okay, we'll get to Rollins in a second, but because you gave me a segue there, Drew McIntyre fights Damian Priest in the main event. McIntyre ends up going over. What you think about the match, Zach? Yeah, Truth gets involved.
Yeah, I mean, solid Raw main event, and kind of a expected outcome. They are, I really think we'll all save it for, predictions, but, Drew is, Cody's the top star of Raw, and, Punk is obviously up there, but, it's like they have a lot of real deal star power, and Drew is absolutely in that mix with Rollins and Cody and Punk, and he's like the fourth pillar of that show, really.
They've been telling a compelling story with him. They've been, he is legitimately wronged. He kind of like we talked about, he kind of turned babyface on Punk and got the crowd behind him, even though he was nominally a heel out there. He's an interesting character right now. I don't want to call him a tweener. I wouldn't say he's a tweener, but yeah, I think people are into him because he's doing a really great job.
I think you can, at least for me, I can relate, well, not relate, but I guess empathize with the story of Drew McIntyre. I thought he's never gotten the credit for being a champion through the pandemic, and I think that we'll always look back on that, especially as we get further and further away from it. Looking at it on wrestling, there's champions in the pandemic that don't get their due. Sheeta, I think, is one. Drew McIntyre, I think, is another. If everything was equal and you had WrestleMania in front of fans and you had Drew McIntyre go over Brock Lesnar, I think the butterfly effect is totally different. So you take that, now you take the fact that Drew's gotten, if he feels like he's been wronged in modern times, you got to pissed off Drew McIntyre. So at that point, I can at least understand why he's pissed off.
If I wish that I was a writer for WWE, because I got a great line. Like, if CM Punk's in the ring with Drew McIntyre, he'd be like, yeah, Drew, you're the champion during the pandemic, and nobody was there to not care about you. I'd be like, oh, man. Oh, that'd be fucking badass, right? I was thinking about that today while I was driving.
You ain't shit.
Promos I'd cut on Drew McIntyre.
What Drew did to you, man? Damn.
Nothing. I love him. I just think,
you love him, all right. Sorry for that shrapnel you got in your arm.
That's how good the story is. It's got me thinking about it while I'm fucking driving. There was some big news that Seth Rollins tore his meniscus, I think, or his MCL during the Jinder Mahal match. The Jinder curse strikes again. Seth Rollins comes out, cuts a promo like he's not going to make it to WrestleMania. Gunther's music starts playing. This pops me.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, here we go. They have been doing a spectacular job leading up to this Rumble because it is going to be a compelling Rumble with how they book it and who goes over and Final Fours and things like this. Jason, what do you think about Seth Rollins and Gunther?
When Seth comes out with the knee brace, my knee-jerk reaction is this the spot where they pull the trigger on Damian Priest. I knew that even though Damian Priest was scheduled against Drew McIntyre, my mind thinks of other things, and my knee-jerk reaction is this the chance that they're going to pull the trigger? When Gunther's music hits, I had no idea where we were going with this, so I just took it for the ride that it was. At some point, I would assume that these guys are going to cross paths if Seth is healthy. Now, when that is, will Seth be the champion? I don't know about either or. Just the segment itself, I was looking for one thing and got something else, and I was pleasantly surprised with what I got. Gunther feels like he's already on that big-time stage with Seth, Punk, Cody, whoever else, Drew McIntyre. You want to go with those four? I'll throw Gunther in there as a fifth option as well. Him staying across from Seth Rollins made me really realize how big of a star he is and where he's ultimately going to go. And a year from now, he'll be in the world title picture, and he won't come out of it.
Remember a few years ago whenever we were so down on WWE because it legitimately sucked. It was some of the worst wrestling I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've spent a long time watching wrestling, and I've seen some really bad wrestling. And that was bad. It was so bad that they had Walter, or Gunther, and we thought that they were going to fuck him up. And, man, they have not done that, thankfully. Like, he is absolutely where you thought that he would be, or where he should be. And, man, they've done a really great job with him, and I'm glad that they're thrusting him into this main event scene. And he seems like he is absolutely perfectly comfortable in it.
Yeah, comfortable with it, made for it. Prediction right now, Gunther wins the Royal Rumble. Rock wins the title in Elimination Chamber. Rock, Gunther, WrestleMania. Book it.
Holy shit.
This motherfucker here.
Fight forever.
I was say, yeah, I'm not coming into work today.
I think that there is a close to 0% chance that Gunther wins the Royal Rumble. I really want to see Gunther whoop ass in the Royal Rumble.
I think we're going to see it.
Oh, he's going to whoop some fucking ass. Too bad Brock Lesnar's not going to be there because that was going to be a big fucking moment with Gunther standing next to Brock Lesnar. And you can almost guarantee that they were going to do it. There is nobody that I can think of that I'd rather see Gunther stand face-to-face with than Brock Lesnar, actually.
I mean, ultimately, we've gotten to that point where Gunther has been ascended to where now you can't look at him. He's beating like the Bronson Reed, so he's beating the big guys. He's beating the Chad Gables and everybody in between. So now you're looking at, okay, so now it's like Cody's, CM Punk's, Drew McIntyre beat him in a triple threat. So, I mean, we're getting to the point where now we're running out of people for Gunther to face. Brock Lesnar is ultimately the final boss when it comes to WWE. If you beat Brock, you're fucking over. That was and I'm holding out hope that they even put in, they still go with Brock Lesnar anyway.
No,
I doubt it. Look, I doubt it, but I mean,
damn. I think the Wall Street Journal is the final boss for WWE.
Yeah. But I do think that there's a close to 0% chance. We also had Nia Jax and Becky Lynch talk shit to each other, and Becky Lynch has another run-in with Rhea Ripley in the back. Jason?
It's the bill for Nia Jax, at least in my mind. Now, whether or not they pull the trigger on it on Saturday is yet to be seen, but they're at least making the attempt to make Nia feel like she is a credible threat past the size portion of the program. She's beat Becky clean. She's chasing Rhea Ripley down. She injured Rhea Ripley and countless others, on her return. So in that scenario, it's a build for Nia Jax. I don't think much more of it than that. Becky obviously is going to be in the mix to win the Rumble. We'll see.
Zach, any thoughts?
No, I didn't see the segment, but I agree with Jason.
Yeah, so SmackDown, I saw a little bit of. I didn't see the part that I want to go back and watch. I completely forgot about it until I'm looking at it right now, which was the KO show with Logan Paul. Was a segment that I want to watch. Jason, was that good?
Yeah, just because you got two of the best talkers in the business.
That's high praise.
Yeah, I think Logan Paul is a classic, ready-made heel. He came off as such here. Got KO to take off the cast and then attacked him, after the fact. So I mean, it's sad that I shouldn't say sad, but I was mad to see KO fall into that banana in the tailpipe trick. But ultimately, it builds up for their Royal Rumble match. I think this is going to be one of the better matches of the night. Logan Paul just feels like a natural heel. People want to boo him. He came off very well in that segment.
Zach, did you see this segment?
Vince very into bananas and tailpipes, by the way. Big bananas.
I am no pervert.
But no, I agree with Jason. I think that Logan Paul's probably the most naturally gifted dude to do this since like Kurt Angle. Like if he wanted to be a full timer, he could be maybe just we'd be talking about him as not just like this fantastic celebrity wrestler. Like he could be just a really great professional wrestler for a living, but he's got so much other shit going on.
Yeah, Kurt Angle is the one that people talk about being the most fish to water guy from outside ever. Long career. This guy's favorite of all time. That's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2,
Kurt Angle, no joke.
3.
God, I was so pissed when he beat The Rock.
Jason,
Sir.
you came up with some new rules for the predictions. These are going to be the first predictions of the year.
No, I wouldn't say new rules, just,
Well, the slates are wiped clean. Once again, Jason won 133 to 131 to less than that.
You want to give out your score, man?
120. So we're back to 0. So how many points? So we're going to pick 3 guys. We're each going to pick 3 to win the Rumble. I think they're all going to be the same 3. How many points for 1? How many points for 2? How many points for 3?
The winner will get 5 points.
If you pick
the number 1 guy.
If you pick Santino Marella to be your most likely and it hits, you
5
get
points.
5 points.
3 points for your number 2.
Okay.
1 point for your number 3.
Okay. So then the rules are clear. So let's not start with the Rumbles. Let's start with the aforementioned Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul for the U.S. title. Jason, who you got?
It's going to be hard for me to not pick Logan Paul at this point. I think it's, like I said, this has the potential to kind of steal the show a little bit. Obviously, the Rumbles will be the main focus, but this has all the potential in the world to be one of the show-stealing matches, the highlight matches, whatever you want to call it. KO is going to bring it. Logan Paul has been on this spotlight, in this shine on a couple of different occasions, and every time you see him, it's a big-time stage. This is another big-time stage. I got Logan Paul to retain.
Zach, who do you got?
Same. Too early to take that off Logan Paul. They're giving a good story out, too, to KO. He's going in injured. He's going in, angry as KO does. So I think this is going to be Logan Paul.
I am also taking Logan Paul for all the reasons already stated. They want him holding that title at WrestleMania. So I don't know who's going to wrestle at WrestleMania. I think they might make it like a 3-way or a 4-way just to get as many guys in the ring with Logan Paul as possible.
LA Knight feels like the
LA
guy.
Knight is definitely a front runner. Up next, let's do the Women's Royal Rumble. Zach, give me your least to most. Give me 3 names.
Least to most. Okay, so least, I'm going to go with a big old outlier, and I'm going to say Sasha Banks.
Oh, man.
I still think that she's not going to show up, but that's like, it's open. That would be a huge thing to do. Thrust her right into the main event picture.
Come back home,
then
Sasha.
Yeah.
The thing is, that's one of those things, though, if she enters, we know she's winning, right?
No.
I wouldn't say no, but I would be. I feel like she would enter at number 30 and win. If it was me booking it, if she was coming back, that's what I would have her do. I'd have it be number 30 and she'd win.
All right, so you have Sasha Banks in the 3 slot, like a coward.
And then I'm going to go with Becky after that. And my number 1 is going to be Bayley. I think Bayley's been putting in work. She's never really won a Rumble, and she's like, one of those just tried and true WWE. Like she's a main eventer, and this would get her in that area. And maybe she eliminates like one of the damage control to win it, and then that causes problems.
All right, so right off the bat, me and Zach have some different picks. So I have Bayley in the 3 slot. I have Bianca Belair in the 2 slot. And I have Becky Lynch as being the most likely. I have Becky Lynch challenging Rhea Ripley because either way, that's going to be the WrestleMania match. It's just how they get there. Jason.
Didn't know that Bayley never had it. I'm still not 100% sure that this is the case, but if I read this right, Bayley's not had a singles match at WrestleMania. That seems a little weird to me. I'd have to really go back and look at that, but neither here nor there.
Probably just blown ACLs every single time, Because she was hurt a lot,
Yeah, and
that's the only reason I can think.
Yeah, and I was like, when I read this, it's like, does this happen? But neither here nor there. I love the Bayley pick is ultimately where I'm going with this. Least to most, I'm going to go, I've been batting this around in my head, but I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to go Becky Lynch as least likely. I think she'll be one of the last 4 in. But I don't necessarily think that she will win it per se. 2, I got Nia Jax. I think you're pushing her to be pushed. I'm just not convinced that she ultimately wins it. To me, the safest bet of the bunch. It's on Bill's list. It's already made kind of a backstory match to begin with. I'm going with Bianca Belair as I'm most likely to win the Women's Royal Rumble.
That is incredible that the 3 of us. Wow, so there's a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of potential winners out of that because none of us 3 have the same picks. So we're going to be off to a hot start. Speaking of hot starts.
You guys think, real quick, you guys think Jade shows up?
Yes, I think that Jade Cargill shows up. Any other surprises you're expecting?
I do want to talk about the surprises, and that's part of it. I think Jade and Trinity or Naomi are definitely showing up.
Yeah, I was going to say Naomi, to me, is the slam dunk of the bunch. She just dropped the Impact Knockouts title to Jordan Grace. Tonight was the rematch. I would assume she loses that, too.
Any chance she wins the Rumble?
I don't think there's a chance that she wins it. I think that she comes out and does what Naomi does in a Rumble, has a couple of big spots. Hopefully she does glow, but hopefully she does come back and throw a couple women out. However this happens, whoever she throws out will be like her first feud coming back to WWE. Jade is an interesting call. I would love to see it. For me, I mean, if she's not ready, if you're not going to have her wrestle from that point on, don't bring her out.
Any NXT gals you can see in this?
Roxanne?
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
I think this is
Lyra Valkyria?
No, they have a match coming up for the women's title. I would assume Valkyria would retain. At that point, Roxanne has what else to do on
But that's the next night? That's Sunday night? Shit. Is that Sunday night?
Don't
No,
know.
it's
It's the following week.
It's the following week. Okay. I could see Roxanne and Lyra Valkyria both in the match and kind of like eliminating each other or something, so they could like put a little shine on that title match.
Blair Davenport is a wild card. she kind of feels like she's
bet she
another
is.
that ass Will Ospreay.
Or Tiffany. I think Tiffany Stratton would be good.
Yeah.
Would be good.
Yeah, that would
she's
make
been
sense.
off, NXT
She could
TV
actually
for a little bit.
eliminate. She could eliminate Becky. That'd be pretty fun.
That would be. So we have the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Heavyweight title. Roman Reigns versus LA Knight versus Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. I'm going to do this, but I don't know why we're even going through this, but I'm going to go from least to most. So I'll put, I guess, LA Knight as the least, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and Roman Reigns, I guess. Roman Reigns, my Stone Cold Lead Pipe lock of the week. Jason, who you got?
Exactly the same Lead Pipe lock of the week. It's if there was anybody that would beat Roman at this point, it would probably be Randy. Outside of that, we just got guys that are going to make this a really interesting match. There should be a
I want to
spin-off.
watch it.
Yeah, there's going to be a spin-off feud coming out of this. It feels like AJ and LA Knight will be that spin-off feud. Maybe Randy Orton and Roman wrestle singles in Australia for Elimination Chamber. Rock
They
is
said
still
Roman's not going.
Okay, well then even better. Roman definitely retains. It's definitely the lock of the week, and then Roman takes a vacation until WrestleMania time.
Zach, who you got?
Who knows? Maybe this one's like the 2020 election where you're just like, there's no way you idiots are gonna pick this guy, and then they end up doing it. But
He fucking won?
Yeah, 2016 election rather. I'm sorry, but it's been so long. You got AJ Styles, LA Knight, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, right?
LA Knight as least.
Okay. I'll put Styles least.
Yeah, I mean.
And then that's my Stone Cold Lead Pipe lock of the week as well.
Okay. All right. So, now we got the Men's Rumble. So, before we go into our winners, let's talk about some surprises. Do we see, I've called for many weeks now, we're going to see Braun Breaker. Do we see Carmelo Hayes?
Yes.
Zach, do we see Carmelo Hayes?
I hope so. I hope I think actually maybe even better would be Trick Williams.
What about Dragunov?
No.
No, probably not, just because he's the champ.
What about Baron Corbin?
I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. You got 30 spots.
Yeah, I
to
wouldn't
fill.
have a problem with it. But yeah, there was 30.
What about Hogan?
He said that shit.
I was about to say it is down in St. Pete, so it's a 50-50 proposition. But I would hope to God that would be a no.
I mean, he can't do
Believe
a back
it or not,
bump.
that's not the most. Believe it or not, that's not the most preposterous thing he said that day.
What else did he say?
I'm just sure. I'm just sure about that.
Okay. I got you. I got you. Any other surprises that I am forgetting about?
Andrade.
Oh, yeah, Andrade.
Oh yeah, I never even thought about that, but yeah, you're right.
Okada?
No,
he can't.
I was about to say I don't even think he's been signed yet. Much less, you're not gonna rush him into the Rumble and then send him back to NXT. That's crazy.
Dude, I tell you what though, I wonder what the
They're talking
reaction
about
would be
Okada
if a
going to
coin-
NXT? What the fuck are you talking?
No, they're not doing that. There's no way they're doing that.
Look, Shinsuke went to NXT.
That was a way different time. That was a different time.
Look, I'm not saying he should go to NXT. That's just the rumor that is out there.
Well, I know you're
No
not saying
way.
that he should. That would be really insulting.
Look,
What's it going to be, Okada versus Von Wagner?
Look, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you totally. I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that Okada's leaving New Japan. I watched his last couple of matches. I damn near was in tears. So I mean, I get it. You know how WWE is. You got to look this way. Here's the hard camera. Do it like this. Do it like that. So would it be a surprise? Ultimately, no. Does he deserve to be there? Hell no.
Dude, if I hear
mean,
the
that's-
coin drop if I hear the coin drop at a WWE Premium Live event, that'll be my markout moment of the year. I'll lose my mind.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think they would do it like that, man. Because I mean, everybody like Shinsuke's music was different from New Japan, so somehow, some way, it would be.
Yeah, but they could still have a coin drop.
The coin drop, yeah.
Okay, I mean, I don't think they would go with the Rainmaker, gimmick. That's just me. I mean, I think they would. This is WWE. They want their own.
He's gonna be the Shibuki Warrior.
Oh my God. They're just gonna call them nunchucks.
Man, no.
It's gonna be a prison gimmick.
No.
Oh,
God,
did you see?
don't leave.
Did you see that Pete Dunne
Yes.
got his name back?
Yes,
That
finally.
was awesome.
No, it was good. I like Pete Dunne in general. Butch had ran his course. It's time for Pete Dunne to come back.
Yeah, thank God.
It was perfect. Tyler Bate bringing it back out. Let them have a tag team run for a little bit.
Pete Dunne in the Rumble?
Oh, yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, they made a big deal out about that name change, and what I liked about that whole thing was not that he got his name back, but it really showed, like, Pete Dunne, like, he showed everybody that he can be a team player, and he can take chicken shit and turn it into chicken salad, because that Butch thing should have been terrible, and it wasn't that bad.
No, it was good. It started off pretty shitty.
I mean, but ultimately, Zach's right. Like, he did end up getting over
No, he did.
as Butch.
No, he did. I was about to say, by the time that Brawling Brutes ended, Sheamus is another guy. Now that I'm talking Brawling Brutes, Sheamus might be one of the guys that we didn't throw out there that is going to make a return at the Rumble. I hated Butch at first, just way over the top. By the end, Butch was more than acceptable to me as a character in WWE.
Okay,
You know what they should do is they should have Sheamus, Drew, and Gunther in the match. They're the final three, and then they just do a 45-minute match as the final three.
Heath
chopping
Slater,
the fuck out
Jinder
of each
Mahal, and McIntyre all in the Rumble together.
Stop.
They're the first three. Oh, that would be huge. And
Heath
McIntyre
Slater-
goes to the end.
Heath Slater breaks his Impact contract to come back home.
He's got kids. All right, so Zach, I'm going to ask you to go first. Your least to most, well, your top three. Actually, your third most to your most likely to win the Royal Rumble.
Third most is absolutely, and it's another one out of left field, guys. It's MJF. No, I'm joking. It's not MJF. I'm going with Cody Rhodes as the number three. So I don't think that's where it's going to happen. He's not going to be the double, but I feel like he's in the main event scene too much for me to not pick him. And then I'm going to go with CM Punk as number two, at least, maybe most likely. That feels like it should be my number one, but I'm doing something that Phil is going to be unfathomable. He's not going to believe that I'm doing this, but I'm going long. I'm throwing a Hail Mary here. I think Gunther is going to win this motherfucker because they always surprise us.
I would absolutely go nuts if Gunther wins this. Jason.
That's kind of, I'm trying to manifest it, kind of.
That's funny that you said those three names because those are the names I was going to say, just not in said order. So we're going least to most. I'm going to put Gunther at number three. I'm not convinced totally he'll win. It wouldn't surprise me if he did. Obviously, he went over an hour last year, was the last to get thrown out before Cody Rhodes won. So I think he'll be there at the end. Drew McIntyre would probably be my fourth guy. If you wanted to say a final four, I'll go Drew, Gunther as two of the four. Second most likely, I'm hedging my bets on this because I've been baiting the drum for a long, long time, but now it feels like that drum is getting worn out. I'm going Cody Rhodes as number two. I still think he should be the one to finish the story versus Roman Reigns, but it doesn't feel like it's going to happen that way because number one feels like CM Punk is going to get a late number, come in and usurp all that has been done to build up Cody Rhodes to this point. So I have Gunther at three, Cody at two, and CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble at 1.
Jason, you make a very compelling argument for Cody not winning. But I already wrote it down, and I'm going to stay honorable here. I'm taking McIntyre as my third likely. I'm taking Punk as number 2, and I am taking Cody as number 1. I just can't see them giving Punk the win right off the bat. Royal Rumble, it's just, I don't know. I just can't see it.
I hope I'm wrong. I think you can still get Seth and Punk if that's the match they want to do without Punk winning the Rumble. Elimination Chamber's around the corner. I can also see them fucking Cody because you have been in my head for the last 2 or 3 weeks saying that Cody's not going to be there. Cody's not going to be there.
Me?
Yeah. Whether it's been Rock or somebody else, Cody is from, at least in my head, being a shoe-in for the Mania spot to now I'm questioning it whether he's going to be in that spot where, we've taken a year, almost 2 years out of my life to get it to this point. Now I'm like, I don't know if he's going to make it or not. So that's why I don't have that conviction like I have had in the past of Cody winning the Rumble. The Elimination Chamber still is in play if Cody doesn't win the Rumble. So, I mean, both guys have options. It's just which trigger do you want to pull first? Am I crazy, 3-Beer? Am I just thinking about this too much? Motherfucker, come off mute.
Oh, God, I'm just talking this whole time. God.
So am I crazy?
Yeah. No, not at all. I think a couple months ago, I would have thought 100% Cody's in the main event of WrestleMania. Things have changed a little bit. The landscape's changed. Punk came back. We got talks of The Rock. There's a lot going on. I can see him not finishing the story at Mania, but man, they are 100% behind the Cody Rhodes babyface train. He really has been the number one babyface in the company for 2 years. Punk said it on there, and I'm like, shit. It's only, we're 3 months shy of like 2 years of Cody Rhodes being the top babyface. Pretty wild. I know he was gone for a minute, but
still
because of that torn pec. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be in a title match at Mania.
That's crazy.
But I don't think that he shouldn't be. I'm just saying I don't think that he will be. If it makes sense. Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like he should be, but.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a triple threat match at WrestleMania for Seth's belt. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I just can't see Gunther winning it while he's got the Intercontinental. I just can't see it.
Roman's gonna be fucking like at the press conference after Mania, and he's gonna be like super sweaty with 7 belts in front of him, and he's just gonna be like, "We're in the 5th inning."
Gunther can win the Rumble.
Hey guys, it's the top of the 4th. We got plenty left.
Say, God damn,
we got more stories to tell.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so those were our 2024 Royal Rumble predictions.
Man from Ringside. Look at you. You motherfucker.
Had to go back in the archives to grab that drop, to grab the outro drop.
I was going to say, what was that, 2017? Jesus.
Where are you watching the Rumble?
Nigga, I got to be at work. So, I mean, I'm going to just go on radio silence right at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. Don't look at the phone.
Watching it when you get back?
Yeah, immediately. You can just come right back and just turn it on.
Zach, how you watching the Rumble?
I'm actually going to the Kraken game tomorrow night, and so I'll be up in Seattle. So I hope I don't have to watch any on the road, but I might have to watch it from the passenger seat on my cell phone for a little while. But other than that, I'll be drinking non-alcoholic beer in my basement.
Yeah, I am playing trivia Saturday night, so I too have to go on radio silence. I'm going to come back here immediately after, and even if my brother-in-law and sister come over, the Rumble's turning on, so I got to make sure there's no spoilers. No spoilers. Hey, guys, give everybody 24 hours or something, or at least till the next morning, huh?
No, that's.
I'm just saying to the people.
I'm a firm believer that spoilers is on the individual person. If you decide you want to look at Facebook just for 30 seconds,
text messages.
Okay, well, our group is good with that. We
I'm
don't spoil.
saying in general.
We don't spoil. Okay, we're good with that. Other text threads good with that. We don't spoil. No, we don't spoil. When was the last time we spoiled anything?
I don't remember.
Okay, there you go.
I don't know. Bill told me there was no Santa Claus last year.
That was a fucking lie, man. Take a look at my credit card bill, right?
Oh, shit.
Man from Ringside.
Hey, everybody, we got some birthdays this week. I'm going to have to do the math on the fly, so bear with me. Honky Tonk Man is 71. Michelle McCool, 40.
I bet Gunther's going to beat that record, too.
Michelle McCool is 44. Jay Briscoe would have been 40. R.I.P. Road Warrior Hawk, 67.
R.I.P.
Yep. Evil, 37. Sasha Banks is 32. Sheamus is 46. Sonata is 36. Hardcore Holly is 61. Giant Gonzalez is 58. Becky Lynch is 37.
Speaking of the streak.
Drake Maverick, a.k.a. Rockstar Spud, is 41.
He worked me with in NXT, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I like him. He won his job back.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, we know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so I appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For my whole family in there. For Tender Mahal. For Murray the Murray Man Murray. For Lucha Chris. For Patriot Pat. For Brett Jagger. For Vice. For Two Beer Zach Poland. For Jason Cornelius Bell. I am Bill Zaggy. Black Lives Matter. Support your local restaurants. Support your local weed dealers. Call your parents and never, ever forget to boo the heels.
Boo, bitch.